Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Kristen Corral, TEDx speaker, award-winning entrepreneur, co-founder of Tarian, and acclaimed plant-based Mexican restaurant chain with locations in Las Vegas and San Diego. And we learned from her about her broke brand blueprint for turning community and storytelling into lasting business growth. Welcome to the show, Kristen.
Thank you. That was such a nice intro. Thank you.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Christian. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll learn from you about how one can build a brand on any budget, small budget, whatever it is. So we'll talk about all that. But before that, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, your story, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started out as a performer, as a Las Vegas showgirl, and I did that for a long time. And when I was ready to retire, I wanted to figure out how I could own my own business. Like many of the people listening, you don't want to work for somebody else, you want to work for yourself, right? So I knew that I loved animals, so I had to figure out how to mesh my love of animals and entrepreneurship. So I created a pet care business and I scaled that to 6 figures and I sold that. And then I partnered up with my husband and a couple other people and we started restaurants. And now we own 7 restaurants and a franchise called Tarian, like you mentioned in the intro. And we are franchising nationwide.
Yes, Kristen. Looks like there was some technical problem for a bit. So tell us a bit. Let's start so that we'll cut out the part which was not on yet.
Okay, it froze up on me.
Yeah,
You want me to start over?
yeah. A bit about your story, your journey, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yeah, no problem. So I started off as a Las Vegas showgirl. And when I was kind of rounding out my career, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to start a business. The only thing I really loved was animals. So I created my own pet care company and I taught myself SEO, marketing, labor costs, how to do financials. And I scaled that business and I sold it. And then I partnered up with my husband and a couple other people, and we created this vegetarian, vegan, Mexican restaurant called Tarian. And we now have 6 locations within Nevada and California, and we are launching a franchise nationwide.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what was the biggest thing that helped you, do all this? Any particular skill, budget, or no budget? How did that happen? Help us understand how did you land up to this broke brand blueprint. So first, help us understand what was your biggest strength, and then we'll come to the other part.
Yeah. So early on, even with my first business, I really enjoyed the marketing aspect of entrepreneurship. I figured out early on that you have to do everything when you start off with $0. So that's kind of been my whole journey, is doing a lot with a little. And I feel like when right now we're all focused on AI and technology and all of these things online and social media and hyper focused on those things, and we're forgetting about how we start off in our communities, especially for those of us who have brick and mortar businesses in our communities. We have to get back to our roots and remind people that we're human, that we are behind these businesses, that we need to be rooted in community and support and have those ride or die fans that are behind us in our community. So that's kind of my whole thing. I teach marketing on a budget for emerging brands and small businesses.
Absolutely. So you talked about community. Now, should one consider community as some place where you want to contribute to, or you want your community to monetize, in that sense that it is your customer and not a community in that sense? How should people look at it from that point of view, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, people in 2025 want to buy from people they know and they recognize and they like. That's kind of born out of influencer culture. But now we're moving away from influencer culture and we're moving into storytelling from the brands. You know, back in the day, Tide and Dove and all of these big brands, they kind of hid behind their brands. And in essence, they still do. But you see more and more small businesses with the owners coming out in front of their brand. And that's because they're building community. When you see me out in front of my brand, or you see me on the local news, or you see me talking out in the community at an event, then you're going to say, oh, I know that girl. That girl's from Tacotarian. Oh, yeah, I haven't been to Tacotarian in a while. Maybe I should go back in there. And you're just kind of reminding people in your hyper local communities that you exist and that you still need their business.
Absolutely. So how do you get started with this? Means, is it only for some specific things that you can use this sort of an approach, or is it for almost everything that we do now? We can do that approach. You have a restaurant. You talk about how does that work? How did you it work for you for that?
There's so many ways. I think you can embed community into every single aspect of your marketing. For instance, if you're on social media, you can talk about yourself and your story. And just the same question that you asked me when I first started, how did you get started in your business? You should be answering those questions on your social media and reminding people who you are, why you started, why you're passionate about this business. But there's also a lot of other things you can do. For instance, one thing that we do that's been really successful is partnering with local charities. So we create a very specific dish, but it doesn't have to be a dish if you don't own a restaurant. You could create a product, you could create a service, something that's really exciting for your customers. And you tie that specific product or service to a charity that you love and that aligns with your brand. Then you work with the charity and they're going to send their supporters. You're going to drive your customers, and then you're going to capitalize on having multiple audiences going for this one specific service or product, and then you donate a portion of that back to that charity at the end of the month or 2 months or whatever you decide to do. And that way you're capitalizing on all these different audiences and driving traffic to your business specifically.
Absolutely. Amidst all this, you can also get an award. Tell us what did you get awarded for as an entrepreneur? You are an award-winning entrepreneur, you say.
Yeah, sure. So this year's been a busy year for awards. I was named one of the SBA's Small Business Persons of the Year. So if you've ever heard of the SBA, it's the Small Business Administration. They do a lot within the United States. So we went to Washington, D.C. to receive this award. We got a nice plaque. So that was fun. We've gotten a couple restaurant awards. We got the Nation's Restaurant News Hot Concepts Award, which we're accepting next month in Nashville. And then we also were named to Fast Casual's Top 100 Movers and Shakers, which is a list of the top 100 kind of growing restaurants in the U.S. So a couple big awards for us this year, which has been really exciting.
Absolutely. Now let's learn about your broke brand blueprint. What does it mean? What does it entail? Help us understand. Who is this for? Is it for brands which are broke, or anyone else can use it?
I feel like all brands are a little bit broke right now. It's like really tough times out there right now. So that's why I love to teach people how to do things with very little money. You'd be really surprised to know that I run multi-million-dollar businesses and I still spend less than $2,000 a month on marketing. That's really, really unheard of. Most businesses spend about 5 to 8% of their total revenue on marketing. But marketing is the last thing you always get to spend money on. And then it's the first thing you have to cut when times get tough. So that's why you have to be really, really creative with your marketing. Are you building an email list? This is one of the things that costs almost no money, but then you own your customers. A lot of businesses make the mistake nowadays in this digital age of building their entire customer base around TikTok and around Instagram. That's really dangerous because you're just renting those platforms. If they disappear, then so does all your customers. So you have to be focused on driving that customer base off of social media onto your personal email list. So that's one that I like to talk about a lot.
Absolutely. And coming back to the community part, means how do you actually start doing that part, building something from that community level? Also, a lot of businesses today are online. Mm-hmm. And just the community growth itself will not be enough for them. So how do they balance the community aspect of it and also look at audiences or clients which are beyond the community? Can it be possible both ways, to balance both ways?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you do own a brick and mortar business in a hyper local community, like in your city or your town, a great way to start is to join a chamber or a women's group or some kind of niche group for other entrepreneurs or business owners in your area. The Chamber of Commerce is something that we have in the United States, but I'm sure there's similar things in every single country. Networking is a great way to meet other people and let them know that you're a small business owner. One thing that nobody likes to do is go into a big room of people that they don't know and say, "Hi, my name is Kristen. I own a business." But you have to do it, because if you meet people, chances are they're going to refer you or they're going to remember you if you make an impact. So that's a great way to just go out and meet people. Even if you join a running club on a Sunday, you're still meeting people in your community that you can talk about your business. But when you talk about online communities, there's still lots of online communities that you can be a part of. I mean, Reddit is blowing up right now. Reddit has a lot of traffic. There are a lot of people having very big discussions about different things. So if you get on Reddit and you can use ChatGPT to find out what's trending in your niche on Reddit, and then you can kind of dial into those Reddit channels and have conversations with people. If you're on Facebook, there are Facebook communities that have to do with different kinds of businesses. You can join those kinds of communities, or you can find Facebook communities that are about your town or your local area. There are ways that you can build community online. You could also use something like Substack. I don't know if you're familiar with Substack, but you can build your own online community on Substack. And again, then you're building people that you own their email, or you can just message them directly. There's chat forums within Substack. So those are great ways that you can utilize online tools as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great platforms. And we are also on Reddit as well, as not so active, but yes, now I am to be active there. And secondly, also on Substack, we are very much there. But to understand the community aspect of that, Christian, are there any things that, entrepreneurs, small businesses should be cautious of in terms of not overdoing something and actually, engaging with the community rather than, just taking away from the community?
I mean, it's going to be different for every community, what works and what doesn't work. So you kind of just have to get out there and test the waters. I will say that I kind of said this in the beginning, but I think people are very, very, very hyper focused on getting likes and clicks and things like that online. And if you think about how you interact with social media as a user, and you have to think about that when you're posting out content. If you post a viral piece of content that gets, 100,000 likes, that's great. But did they go to your business and buy something? Did you get anything out of those likes and follows? I think we're being too focused on the social media aspect of growing our businesses without understanding how to funnel those customers into our actual businesses so we can generate revenue.
Absolutely. So from some listener point of view, what should they understand? Who is Christian? Because you are into restaurant, you are into doing so many things. But from that, if they want to engage with you, what's the best way they should understand what you are doing?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm one of you guys. I am a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur, but I really, really enjoy sharing what I've learned about marketing and entrepreneurship. So I'm big on not gatekeeping. I give away all my information for free on LinkedIn. I also have a Substack. So you can find me on LinkedIn or Substack and just kind of follow what I do. I'm always giving out free tips and free advice. I recently did a TEDx talk, which you mentioned in the beginning. So I'm out there speaking and just helping people grow their businesses. I think as business owners, we tend to just like put our head down and forget that there's a million other people trying to do the same thing that we are. And the more that we can help each other out and build our own communities in a sense of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, the better off we'll all be.
Absolutely. One last question, Christian, is that, as small businesses, one tries to be, much more connected with people, community. But with the advent of AI, we are using AI in communicating, planning, branding, everything. How do you balance that in today's time? Because a little bit of more will take the community away because they can see, and whereas they want more of a human connection. How do you do that? What is your advice on this part?
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? I feel like we're losing a little bit of humanity with AI. But AI can be great tools. I think the way that you have to utilize it is keep it for brainstorming, keep it for idea building, but don't let it do everything. Even if you have it, I see people writing emails with it, and it just makes me crazy because I'm like, you can write an email. You could write an email before last year. So I think we just need to not let it take over our entire lives and make sure that when we're writing things, we're still going back and editing and putting our own humanity in. Because as we see, even on LinkedIn, we see a lot of this, is that every single post is starting to look exactly the same because it's written by the same AI. And we just have to be careful of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so much to learn about all this from you, Christian, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, do business with you, know more about your business. What's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just Kristen-Corral, or you can find me on Instagram, which is the Kristen Corral, or you can find my Substack, which is the Broke Brand Blueprint.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.